Hi, friends. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone is having a good day. I um I am having a very interesting guest on the show today. I spoke with her earlier, but she's not in here yet. So oh, never mind. We're going to add her right now. But I hope that you guys really enjoy this, and please make sure to be interactive in the chat. We love when you guys do that. It really helps us out a lot. So if you guys are ready for it, I know I am. Let's introduce. Let's put the girls back in the shirt for one. I just bent over and was like, oh my god. Let's introduce Lauren. All right.
Hi.
Hey girl, hey, how's it going?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
I'm just peachy. Thanks for asking. I am
Good.
so excited to have you on this stream. I felt like your energy. I really like it. And
Thank you.
I'm down with it. And I appreciate you taking a time out of your schedule to do this. So
Yeah, I was excited. Thanks for asking.
yeah. So why don't you go ahead and just briefly explain who you are, what you do, and just like introduce yourself to my guests here on
Yes.
YouTube and on X.
Awesome. Yeah, so I am Lauren Katie. I am a private investigator and I specialize in missing persons cases. That's where my true passion is. But I also do other cases, like stalking cases, infidelity cases, and a plethora of other goodies. So, yeah,
Sorry, that
no, you're
that
fine.
gulp took me a minute longer to swallow than I had anticipated. So, missing persons and stalking cases. Now, is it like at the end of the day, when as a private investigator, do do the people that you are investigating ultimately find out who you are?
The goal is not to.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the goal is not to. I mean, if later on, after the investigation is complete, they choose to tell them that they hired someone, but usually there won't be names mentioned or
Like
I
a court, did you go to court for stuff?
yeah, so in those cases, obviously I would testify and then they would know.
Okay.
But most of my I've only testified, I want to say twice. Most of my cases are incognito, so I'm kind of under the radar and whether it be taking pictures or just surveilling and things like that. I try to stay very, inconspicuous. So,
Okay.
yes.
Um, so being on like my show, now granted, I'm not a ginormous show yet. Um, and being on Court TV has do you think that is something that like that could be jeopardizing for the PI work?
Potentially, but I am not taking so many cases to where people would be like, ah, that's her. You know what I mean? Also, when I
Right.
do things, I don't usually have makeup on. I usually have hats on, things like that. So, I have glasses, things like that. There's a lot of ways to kind of just go by the radar and not have anyone see you. Plus, my passion is the missing persons, and so most of the time, I'm focused on that. That's what I really enjoy doing. So,
Now can you mention any like missing persons cases that you've been a big part of or you have been passionate about for us?
yeah, so I've worked on a case down here in Florida, Cassie Carley. It's a case that was about 30 minutes from where I'm back and forth from Atlanta to Florida.
Okay.
And so it was a case that was kind of in my backyard, about 30 minutes from where I am. And she went missing at a custody exchange with her ex-boyfriend. And, they knew right away what had happened. Unfortunately, it wasn't a case where we were, trying to find her and basically thought we were going to bring her home safe. So that one was very personal. That was my first big,
Oh,
missing persons case as well. And so yeah, that one was that was tough because it was also in my, area, my neighborhood, and she was a wonderful mom, and there was also a child that was taken in that custody exchange too. So we felt pretty confident that the kid would be safe, but didn't have the highest hopes for bringing Cassie home. So
that's we had a case. I've referred to it a few times on my show here where I live, where a woman went missing on her birthday on Memorial Day of 2020. So it was right smack dab in the middle of COVID, and she like I don't have a better way of saying this, and her husband already knows that I have been on the internet saying that he killed her, even though he was acquitted. Hold on one second. Sorry.
you're fine.
There was like a screeching noise behind me, and my husband's in there, and I was like, "Can you please stop?" I like that sounded like rats. I don't know how else to say that. He's on Xbox talking shit to 12-year-olds. That's
Of
cute.
course, yeah.
All right, cool. Um, yeah, her name was Emily. It's I'm sure if you took a look at the case, it would raise your eyebrows as well because she wasn't found until September, literally within a half a mile of her home, and we had search parties every weekend. We scoured this entire city.
So you know what I'm talking about then. It's
Yeah,
it's personal. Yeah.
yeah, and the cops had been called like twice in 1 week about the smell of like they thought it was a dead deer, but they were like, Emily's missing. We should probably call this in. Like, just I live in an arbor city, so
Mhm.
like it's a very walkable, very family, lots of trees, like city.
Yeah.
And yeah, people were just out walking and called the cops. The guy actually got out of his car and was like, "Oh yeah, it reeks back here. Maybe I should go check this out." And they said that she committed suicide. Um, and her husband's son had died the same exact way 2 years earlier.
And they acquitted him?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So unfortunately, I feel like there are so many cases that are chalked up to suicide that aren't.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and it's so I that's very frustrating. Especially, was that evidence? Do you know if that was allowed into trial that his son died the same? Man.
Yep. I watched the
Wow.
whole there's a dateline on it. There's
Oh,
a
you'll have to
dateline
tell
on
me.
it.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me. I probably have seen it, to be honest. That's my jam. I love Dateline. So
I know, it's my jam too. I actually it's funny you mentioned that. I have an Etsy store and I created a shirt or a hat that says Dateline trained me for this moment.
I love it. I love it.
And I have some Keith Morrison stuff coming up.
Oh, excellent.
This
Yes,
is
yes.
this is one of my really good friends. You probably know her from a Dateline episode. She the Dirty John. It was also a Netflix series.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
That's
I don't know if the like picture of in my head is of the movie thing
Yeah.
or of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Dateline?
Yeah.
Okay.
The girl that played her played Ruth in Ozark, the Ozark show.
Oh yes, yes,
Uh,
I love that show. Yes.
yeah, it was I total talk about a totally different character, by the way.
Okay.
Um, and that's who played my friend Tara. And
Amazing.
yeah, anyways, I I felt like I should mention the Emily thing because you probably have seen the Dateline like me. Like I don't miss a single Dateline, like
Yeah.
ever, ever.
Yes.
So that's that's really that. Yeah, it kind of I felt like it was relatable.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. And if it's in your town, you get it. It's an extra personal attack almost, like how dare you do that here? And so yeah. Yeah. So that was definitely a personal one for me. And he still has yet to go to trial. And so hopefully
Oh
we get,
wow.
yeah, it's been years. It keeps
What is
getting
he
pushed off.
doing to avoid it? Is he just like firing his lawyer like one after one, or like what's his ploy
No.
here?
So well, because he took the child out of state, there was a lot of legalities with that.
Oh
And
wow.
then they were seeking the death penalty, but then they took it off the table. Now there's some statute that is going to possibly, they will be able to possibly go after it again. So because of that, they've asked for a stay, which is fine if they're gonna, be able to do that, take as much time as you want. He's, behind bars, so
Okay.
it's not, a dire situation. But her family is still very much like, okay, we're waiting for that day. And that case was crazy. This was the only case that I've ever seen that there was not a manner of death or a cause of death. um they couldn't find either. And I was livid. I don't even think the person who conducted the autopsy was a actual medical doctor.
Can you
Yeah.
get a second opinion autopsy? I'm just like without paying extra. Like, can you go to like your attorney and be like, "This is bullshit"? Like, is that possible?
No, not without paying a ton of money. I mean, like they would have had to, exhume her body and
Yeah. Oh wow.
so much money, and they don't have that. But I was livid. I called about it, and then there was they put out another statement saying that I guess there was another person that was there with that coroner, that was a medical doctor. And I'm like, that's not, no. Then why we have nothing? We have nothing, like nothing at all. And we were able to find her within I want to say a week, and she was buried in the ground, which preserves the body. It was not overly hot. It was in a
That's an
barn.
idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there
That's an
should
idiot.
have been tons of evidence on her, to tell a story, and there was not. And I was very upset about that, and I think that, that was negligent on their part. But this is small town Alabama where she was found, and
All
you
right.
know, but
Yeah, it's there are certain places in Alabama that are very that remind me a lot of Massachusetts in the sense that like someone's related to the prosecutor, the DA, the like it's all nepotism and favors. And like that's that's so frustrating to me. That's
yeah,
so
that makes sense. I could see that for sure.
oh, same with South Carolina. I haven't seen it as much in North Carolina. I mean, I know it exists everywhere, let's be real, but
Yeah.
I I have not seen this sort of craziness like that you're talking about that I'm inferring to with Karen Reed like the guy that shot his family, Murdaugh. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that like in my state. If I had, I would be standing outside by myself at the courthouse looking like an idiot. Like I would.
Rightfully so, though. That's, it's maddening, really.
How long have you been doing this?
So I got my license 2020. So I've only been doing it for 5 years now.
Okay.
Um, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I happen to have a neighbor and his wife, um, who were in like the security detail business. And with that, they also got their private investigator's license. And I was like, oh, you don't even know. Like, I would love to do that. And he's like, you should do it. I'm like, well, I'm working full time. Like, I've got a good gig, like, he's like, do it on the weekends. And so I thought about it, gave it some thought, and I ended up doing that on the weekends and until I passed and got all my hours and then passed the state licensure and all that. And then yeah, here I am. So
Do you only have your licensure for like one state, or do you have to get several? Like, how does that work?
yeah, so I'm licensed in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure
and
that there's a lot of like angry wives that need
yeah,
to figure
yeah.
it out from a PI.
Yes, yes. I'm working on getting my license in Florida so that I can do.
Oh, money, money.
Yes. And then but there, like where I was in Georgia and where I live in Florida, it's only a few hours. So if I want to work a case, I can go up, and do that very easily. Um but yeah, there's, every state has their own, you know, laws and things like that. And so if, you can combine the two if your case takes you down there to a different state, which is nice as well. But for the most part, you have to have, each state. Now, some states don't require much. And so, yeah, but it was something I always like thought was amazing, kind of cool. I was always watching Matlock and things like that when I was younger. So,
Unsolved Mysteries was my jam.
oh yes, that's a good one. Absolutely. Yeah. So, oh yeah, good times.
Rescue 911, Unsolved Mysteries. Um,
Okay.
I like my parents didn't want me watching cartoons. And so I had a, I grew up very weird. I grew up with like
No, that's
um 60 minutes.
mm,
And now are all
more
these things
educational.
that I still listen to and watch. Like it's funny. So yeah,
Yeah, I
you
love that.
definitely can rear your kids in the direction you want them to go. I
Yeah, for
can
sure.
keep promises, by the way. If you are on YouTube and you are watching, please jump in the chat and say hello so I can give you guys a shout out. I saw Andrea's on my X account. Hey girl, hey. If you are on X and you would like to follow Loren, may I give your name out on X?
Absolutely. You can do that. Twitter, Twitter
I,
X, whatever it
I
is,
just don't want
YouTube.
to compromise you in any
No,
way.
no, no. You're fine. I'm very active on there. So you're totally fine.
So it's at Loren, Loren, Katie,
It is.
Katie.
Yes.
Um, I am at Lacey J Meeks, EY, and Meeks with an S, like the meek shall inherit the earth. And then on YouTube, I am at Lacey Jane on X. What's your YouTube name?
So my YouTube name and my TikTok name are Common Sense Investigator.
Okay. Is TikTok a big thing for you?
I don't do a whole lot, but I've been kind of conscious on doing a little bit more because like I said, this case has just pissed me off. And so I think anybody who has, any kind of a platform should try at least to talk about it and get it out there. So I am posting more on TikTok, and I would love to get more people on YouTube to eventually like talk about maybe some of the trial. Cuz this
Oh, oh yeah.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
is the trial supposed to start?
Oh, so well that one we don't know yet. But
Oh,
like the
you're talking
Karen
about Karen.
Karen, yes. That one, it was supposed to start in April, the one, but now because of the death penalty, they are extra cautious, and so
Oh,
they're
oh
getting
yeah.
bringing in a different prosecutor who's death penalty qualified and all of that stuff. So I'll keep you posted on that one, because I will probably go up and watch that one live and
Has Dateline done anything on that?
no, Court
Have you called
TV,
them? Have you like reached out to them? Because they're really good
no,
about that.
but I definitely could. And like her family's amazing too, and they've been pretty outspoken. Court TV did a little bit about it. Excuse me. Allergies are terrible right now.
Girl, don't I know it? It's
Ooh,
like everything is white outside, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm very open. I deal with depression, and I'm like, I know that this is like my happy season. I don't want to leave the house.
Right.
I'm like, do not make me go outside.
I'll be
Like,
happy from inside.
yeah,
Looking.
like my nose is running nonstop. When I was giving testimony yesterday at the state house, I literally, I shit you not, I was terrified. I would put my head down and like I would need to blow my nose. So
Yeah.
I was standing like this, and I tried to bring like something to like heighten the podium to my like reading abilities. So yeah, that was
I get it.
that's the Midwest, and
Yeah.
I'm not shy. Like this shit is real life.
It
If
is.
anyone's
It
standing
is.
there saying like, "Oh, that doesn't happen to me,"
Yeah,
like
it
you're
does.
full of it. You're full of it. Um,
Yes.
so what? May I ask what makes you go between Georgia and Florida?
Yep. So I have family in Georgia. My
Okay.
parents are there, so I go and visit them a lot. They're older. And then basically just having my license, I, do a lot of the work there, but I also love the beach. I have always loved the beach. I have always wanted to live in close proximity to the beach. So I decided to do that. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. So I go back and forth, which is nice. So
Hey Frank, can you come get the cat? She's causing havoc in my makeup room. Oh, wait. I think she's making an exit. I have a Siamese who is
aw.
just, nah, she's really mean. But she found the bubble wrap and she
Oh
started
yeah.
jumping on the bubble wrap. And I was like, okay, I need to pause this. Like, this is real life. Once again, real life, real interviews. The cat's causing mass destruction. Had to call in the husband.
I have cats,
Um,
so I get it. They get into everything.
I have 3 cats or 3 dogs and a cat. I have
Okay.
Frankie. My husband was just like, oh hell no. We have the litter robot, and that
Yeah.
thing is a lifesaver for one cat. I could never do another cat. Like it's
Yes.
and she's so bougie. Like she just requires so much.
Yes. I have a Sphinx, and so
Oh wow. That's pretty cool.
yeah, he's my baby. He's only 4 months, so he's pretty cool.
Oh.
Yes, he is
Do
pretty cool.
you wrap him up in like warming blankets?
So not warming blankets, but he's got a bunch of clothes. Like he has a wardrobe. So. um, and some he like doesn't mind, and then like the long sleeve ones he hates me and all that. But he will find like you have to put blankets like on the couch or on the
Yeah.
chairs.
I
He'll
have
go
a
under.
customer who's obsessed with those cats and has a
Okay.
bunch, and she's like, well, I can't afford this month. I had to buy Teddy a new blanket. And I'm like, all right, girl.
Yes, they're funny, but like they're more like monkey dogs is what I call them, because like they're
Monkey
not
dog.
like they're not really cats. Like they're more like a dog, but then a side of monkey, because they like will jump on your shoulder and just like sit there, and they'll like just pat your face for no reason. Like they're just funny. Like they crack me up. So
Okay, that seems like a cat that would I would get along with Coco Chanel.
yeah.
That's her name, named after Coco Chanel, but Coco
Love it.
Chanel.
Love
Um,
it.
and she was abandoned, and
Oh,
I think that's why she's so damn mean. But
probably.
she is like she runs this house. She is the warden. She is the warden. Out of the dogs are terrified of her. I mean, the cat is just nuts. Anyways, I have this one. Uh, this little member of my household.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Bitsy
Oh my.
McBoxen, say hello.
Oh. Oh my gosh. So I have a long hair chihuahua, and her tongue sticks out too.
Yeah,
It's so cute. I love
she,
it.
she is just meant to be on a rich old woman's lap all day in a casino in Vegas in a Louis Vuitton. She was not meant for an Ohio life.
You
Like she
know,
just needs to just she all she wants to do is just sit next to you or be next to you.
yes, I love it. That's so sweet. That's how mine is too.
Are you done? Are you done saying hello?
She's so cute.
Don't pay attention to her. Don't make it stop. All right, lay down. Lay down. All right. Um, yeah, so anyways, that's uh so very interesting about the ocean thing. I am not an ocean person. I am a um like if I lived in a state with an ocean, I would I would like to be close, but I am a pool person.
Okay.
I I sound like such an entitled bitch when I say this, but every house I've ever lived in has had a pool.
They
And
are great. They are great.
yeah, I I just I really it also helps with my arthritis
Oh yeah.
significantly.
Oh yeah.
Uh so I guess I should preface that by saying like when we found this house, my husband was like, "Oh my god, this would be so great for you." And like, what if the dogs would go swimming? The dogs do not. Although my French bulldog keeps looking down into the water, and it's
Uh-huh.
terrifying me because she's like 11 this year. And
Okay.
I'm like, girlfriend, you have not swam yet. You have hip dysplasia. We need to settle your ass down. Do not get any ideas.
Oh.
Now, Bitsy likes to float.
Oh, yes.
I'll be on like a float and just put her on my chest, and she'll just be like,
Yeah.
man, she's just meant to be with a rich woman in Vegas. Like
Nothing
that
wrong
is
with that. Yeah. Yeah.
with her ears pierced.
Oh.
Um, this is a crazy conversation, but I'm digging it. So I would love to know when the trial starts for
Yeah.
Cassie.
Yes, Cassie Carley. Well, it'll be
What a
so
cute name.
Marcus Benavello is the guy that murdered her.
Ooh,
Um,
Benevilla.
yes. So I will keep you posted. But yes, they it's prolonged now. So but it shouldn't be, I wouldn't think it would be too long. So
Because of the death penalty.
yeah, with that there comes a lot of, there's only certain like attorneys who are death penalty qualified to try the case. And
I
then
actually didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. And then obviously there's, it takes it up a notch, kind of like Koberger, why that's kind of taken out, taken so long to get to, and there's all these
Right.
ridiculous motions and that kind of thing. It's because it's a death penalty case, most of it. So yeah.
I'm gonna I do this with my guests, and some people hate that I do this, but screw them. They can start their own YouTube channels if they don't like it. I'm gonna tell you what I think, and
Yeah.
I would love to hear your feedback.
Yep.
I can say without a doubt that Koberger was the very first case that I feel like I took in the information from all sides. I
Okay.
wasn't immediately like um I wasn't immediately like uh he has to be guilty or um any sort of way, because I started to notice there were some investigational errors that really stood out to me. And I think it's that case that really got me thinking, like, think about how high profile that was. Like,
Yeah.
how often do other mistakes happen in not popular cases? Like, and
Yeah.
how like how much of an impact those have without people who have shows on the internet about your case. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
I was definitely I needed to be sold on Koberger. I'm not gonna lie. Like I there were a lot of things that just didn't add up.
Okay. Are
And
you sold now, or how do you
I
feel now?
I don't think that there's now I'm open to his defense. I really am, but and I think his defense attorney is a godsend for taking on that case.
Yeah.
Because they only have like something like 13 that would qualify to do that case.
Yeah.
Um, Amy, I think is her name, or
I
I
don't
thought it
know.
started with an A.
I'm
Um,
not sure.
but yeah, I haven't seen any alternative options.
Yeah.
But I'm open now. That case really made me realize like I need to hear all sides of the story.
Yeah.
So
Which is, I mean, which is a great thing to have going into any case. I mean, sometimes easier than others, but
mhm.
that's, you'd be a great juror. So
I would.
yeah.
I would, but I will never be a juror. I know that. I know it in my heart. Like, we're going to see that I've been a lobbyist, and they're going to be like, get this book off. No thanks.
I would love to be one too. So I feel, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would love it. I would love it. It would be great. But
Okay. All right. Yeah, um, who was I just talking to? Oh, someone about jury selection, and how it's like the coolest thing to watch. Oh my God, I can't believe I just had this conversation with someone today. I'm sorry if that person is watching because I'm like totally drawing a blank right now. Um, but basically, like, if I ever have the opportunity, I should
yeah.
go to like a jury selection, because it is just it's fascinating what
If
goes into it.
Yeah, if they did like the panel juries, that's great, because then they'll ask specific people and you can hear the conversation, like how they're doing it up in, Dedham is a
Oh,
joke because it's all.
it's an absolute joke. I saw them playing bingo yesterday. That's what I wanted to type in the comments. Like, did you really just play bingo with alternate numbers?
I can't with her. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's real bad.
And like what when Bev, it was in Bev's room, I guess, they didn't show the alternate number. Whereas with the guy's trial next door
Oh
yesterday,
yeah,
they
Turk.
showed the number. Why I'm at that point now, y'all. I'm at that point. Why didn't they show us the number last year? Why?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. All three of them that were alternates were pro Karen. And I don't think it's far fetched anymore. That is, I unless I see something, I am gonna assume that it's some shady shit going on. I'm at
Girl,
that point.
between that, I think age has really like changed my perspective. Like if you want something done your way, do it. Don't
Mhm.
don't delegate it, because as a small business owner, I was my um my mentor was like, anything that doesn't require your face, your skills, like your voice, like delegate that shit.
Yeah.
I was not getting things done the way that I like. And that is one of those epiphanies with age. Like, yeah, it's good to like put that off. Like if it doesn't, time is money. Time is
Yeah.
money. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm just it's just stressful. And
Yeah.
then what you just said, like was the other thing. What were we before I went on my tirade about like oh,
Unless,
seeing things. Seeing is
yeah.
believing.
Hmm.
Like I have faith. I'm relig- religious, I guess you would say. Like um I don't need to see Jesus in the flesh. Like but
Yeah.
when it comes to certain things, especially in the legal system, like show me. Show me
Right.
the evidence. Or
Right.
else I think you're full of shit.
Yeah. At this point, I used to go into cases, and I still believe that most of the people on trial are, they've got the right person. But
Yeah.
as of late, there has been quite a few that I've lost,
It's scary.
yeah, very, very.
I mean, like it's funny you mentioned that, because I think it was Hulu recommended this movie from 2024 with Russell Crowe, and he was a detective, and a guy was about to, I haven't finished it. I have like 10 minutes left. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It basically, he was a shit cop, I guess, and he put the wrong guy behind bars, and the guy got the death penalty. And his execution date's coming up. And so he's trying to make sure that like he crossed all of his T's and dotted all of his I's. And like
Yeah.
um it's it's that. It's it's that that terrifies me. I can understand. I've always been pro death penalty. Um, but I like now I get why my governor has has like pushed all of the death dates. Um, he has not. They have not killed anyone like with the death penalty since he has been governor. And I feel like if I run for office, someone can definitely use this shit against me. I feel like I will be that person. I'll be like, next governor can deal with that. Like, let's keep the laws the same, but I really don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't want to be the reason. I get it. I get it. Law.
I get it either way. A lot of people feel like it's more more of a punishment to not be dead. You know what I mean? And I understand that too.
Yeah,
So, I think I defer to the family on it and the jury, because like I could go either way on cases, and I think depending on that person and what they want, like they shouldn't get to pick. So
right. I guess with Koberger, I so badly wanted it not to be him because he had made this incredible turnaround in his life. And like I wanted to be like, look at this guy. He was like a crazy drug addict. He had no prospect of having like a good life. And he moved from Pennsylvania out to Washington to pursue his passion. And I wanted that for him. Like I wanted that to be the reality of the situation.
yeah,
Um
yeah, that
it,
was a sorry. Go ahead.
all I'll say is I was quoted in I think Vanity Fair, and it was not a glorious quote. Someone just pulled a tweet of mine during that time. I was obsessed, like nonstop on Twitter. My best friend muted me on Twitter because all I was talking about
Damn.
was Idaho 4. He was like,
Well,
"You need to shut the hell up. Like
I
this is crazy."
every day I was like, did they catch someone? Did they catch, what's going on? I was getting irritated with the cops because I was like, are they doing
Right.
anything? But then they were doing things, and I was like, all right, let's go. So I get it. That one was a hard one to follow and not have, personal feelings and be invested in. So
Yeah. I had forgotten all about the Twitter uh quote in Vanity Fair up until now. That's so funny. Um so okay. Um I saw that you are a panelist for Court TV. Like,
Mhm.
how did that happen? And like, what is that like?
Yeah, it's great. So I maybe 13 years ago, I want to say, HON. So I've known Vinny Politan and a bunch of the other panelists that he has on his show for 13, 14 years now. And when he worked on HLN, um, I was a regular mock juror on After Dark was the name of the show. Um, and it was super fun, and I got to meet all these incredible attorneys. Yeah, from they would come in from like LA, New York, and all this stuff, and I was on like every week. So I kept in touch. I still am in touch with all of them. But they became some good friends of mine, and so whenever I got my private investigator's license, he knew I was going to get it. So whenever I got it, they're like, all right, we're gonna put you on our list for when we need a PI sometime. We'll call you. I'm like, great. So yeah, that's how it happened, and it's great. I mean, I like I said, I on a lot of the cases or missing persons cases on Court TV, so I get to kind of dive in and talk about the stuff that I'm really passionate about. So um,
I mean, anyone is better than Plevin. Anyone. So
girl.
you are a star, baby girl. You are a
So I
star.
have tried so many times, like the
It's a
producer,
bad
like,
look
oh,
for
I just,
them.
yeah, their reasoning on it is they want local people. I am not local. So, and I just don't, I'm like, I don't know how long we can take Plevin. I really don't. And Krowski, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
But
Krowski, because he's such a dandelion and a ray
oh
of sunshine,
gosh.
adds so much insightfulness.
Oh, Krowski. Yeah.
Oh my God, that
And
guy.
I don't think that they know that he's like related to like people in the
I
actual
think
case.
everyone is directly related to each other. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen something like that. It, and I'm not calling them, I mean, let me rephrase this. My roots go back to West Virginia. Like, I am not calling anyone like an inbred, but everyone knows
Oh,
everyone, is
yes.
related to, has a cousin in this
Yes.
situation. And it
Yes.
is so fucked up.
It's wild. It is wild.
It is so bad.
I
I
don't know. I don't know why they haven't like wanted a, change of venue in this case.
I
I
think that
they
they requested that quite a few times.
did they?
If I thought they did.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would make sense because I would, I would want that. So I don't know, but yeah, it's too close for comfort, and the fact that Judge Bev is still on the bench is also another problem. So
Um, that is so fun about the court TV stuff. I
yes.
was I will never forget this because I'm a weather nerd. I have my certification through the National Weather Service.
That's
Um,
awesome.
uh, Long story short, my husband and I were supposed to have a romantic dinner, and I was sitting on my phone watching one of the largest uh, tragedies in the South, which was the Rolling Fork tornado last year on
Uh,
March 31st. And I remember like where I was, what the date was. My friend Chad, who I know is watching, hey Storm Chaser Chad, if you haven't followed him, please do that. Was on the storm with Reed Timmer, the god of tornado chasing. And there was a guy standing at the bar, and this is a swanky restaurant. And he was like, yeah, I do this sway, but he obviously did not do the hair. I gotta do something with Court TV next week. And I think, me being me, I think I took a photo of him on my phone.
yeah.
Um, I would love to send that to you and see if you know who the hell this guy
Yeah.
is. Because
Yeah, do it. Do
I
it. Yeah.
was
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah. Yeah, do it. Absolutely. Yeah.
That I was like, well, should I just go up and talk to him? Oh, well, my husband's here, so I can't do that.
Yeah, send it to me. Yeah.
um, so like, how often do you do that? Is that and you brought up to the producers that Plevin is a bad look.
I didn't
Um,
say that. I just said I am dying to talk about the Karen Reed case.
oh,
And they were like, right now they only wanted people who were in, Massachusetts and local, and it
got it.
still is going on that way too. So but hopefully one day, because that's the one I want to get on and just kind of let loose how I feel, because I feel like there really hasn't been anyone on there to do that, because they've only had Plevin and Krowski, and Nick does a good job too. He's done some
Yeah.
incredible shows when he has put some stuff out there as well. But I would selfishly like to do to do one of those too.
You
He just
kind of hope that Nick loses his voice one day, and like they call you in for like what's it called in musical theater when you are sick and you have to have the backup
oh
singer. Um,
uh
it's not like I did this
not
also.
replacement, right?
No, it's not an alternate either. It's What? Understudy.
Oh,
It's
understudy.
the understudy. My husband knew that because he grew up with 2 women in the house, and I love him for that. Yeah, he likes. I don't think he likes musicals, but he was subjected to many.
Yeah.
Way to go, Frankie. He said, "I like musicals."
Nurse Kim was on there as well one night, I think,
Oh,
because
yeah?
and she did very good. Just also with her, her medical background as well. So that was good to see, but we need other people like Plevin and all that. Like,
Oh.
he's got to go. The stuff he says, like, it makes no sense. And I can't even, like, I laugh because I'm like,
You can't help but laugh.
no, yeah. Hmm.
And the man has some issues. I mean, Jesus forgive me, but, like, the man has some
He
issues.
does.
Um, I have personally caught him saying some really, um, anti-Jew stuff on Twitter
He's
that
mean on Twitter. Like,
yeah,
mean.
it was really, um, gross. It was really gross. And you can't help but when some of the loudest speakers behave in a certain way,
Yeah.
you can't help but to put them all together
Yep.
and say, like, well, if he's an idiot, everyone on that side is an idiot.
Yeah.
If this guy is an asshole, then everyone's an asshole. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's the tricky part when it comes to putting yourself out there. And the loudest critics are always the people who don't, who a lot of times they don't put their name out there, let alone their actual photo. It's usually like a cartoon or
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bird. Um,
Mhm.
a bird, and that seems to be the go-to is a bird. I don't know, but I just I, it's I'm so glad in in one in one way. I'm so glad that it starts on Tuesday, so that we can like talk about serious stuff
Yep.
and nitpicking, like and anything that's going on that is not focusing entirely on free Karen Reed can go to the side. Like,
Yep.
free Karen Reed is just it,
Yeah.
you'll learn that, like, in comments, like, if people just want to be nasty, like, let them be nasty. It's a complete, like, um it's a reflection of them,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
not on you, not on Karen.
Absolutely. Yep.
And if it has to do with freeing Karen Reed, then yeah, like, that's the goal right now for me.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
tell me everything about, like, how you got involved with or how you found out about this case. Um what your initial thoughts are. Let's start there and then we'll move.
Yeah. So I heard about it first on Court TV. They just had like little clips of, I want to say maybe like a pre-trial hearing or something. And then of course like Turtle Boy on the front steps of the courthouse, and there was a big showing, and everybody was kind of protesting, that kind of thing. And I knew the premise of the case, but I did not know like details. I saw bits and pieces of a pretrial hearing. And it was getting ready to start. So I was like, okay, this seems like there could be like some twists and turns. Like, I'm interested in this case.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, I want to watch. And I didn't have one way or the other. I didn't go in with any ideas. I wanted to watch it, and literally just watch the trial through and see where it took me. Um, and so I was excited to do that because I'm like, I don't know these people. Like, I don't care. Like, she
Right.
did it. She did it. Um,
It's
and I
usually the most like that's usually the person. If we're
right,
gonna be honest, like it's
right,
usually the person. So it made sense to us, right?
right, absolutely. And so they started getting into their case, and they really weren't giving me anything like good. And then it seemed like a lot of their time and effort was going into defending the McAlberts, and instead of just proving that she did it. And then when they got to like evidence collection, I was like, are you kidding? I knew nothing about this.
Right there was so good. It was like
Yeah, like solo cups, a leaf
the
blower,
leaf
like
blower.
what? And then the guy's like, yes, as you can see, I'm taking layer by layer off. No, sir, you are not. Any evidence is everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's in the
no.
air. It's like Pocahontas. Like
Oh my
that
God.
song, like feel the river or
Oh,
river of the wind, like everywhere. Everywhere.
yeah. Yeah, it's gone. And I was just livid because, in my field of stuff, like you can't, I'm not, obviously like fingerprinting things and all of
Right.
that, but like
That would be fun.
yeah, there are laws, and if you don't collect like something in a proper way, you cannot use it in a trial.
Right?
And so I'm like, this is an outrage. Like the fact that they thought this was okay, and the fact that they get snow in their state. This isn't like some one time like snowstorm that they, had never had before. They have appropriate things to sift through, snow and look for evidence. They just didn't do it. And then oh, heaven forbid, they put someone out there to sit in front of the crime scene or some tape I mean,
But there
like,
was a blizzard. It was really bad. Like what you just said. They knew they they signed up for that when they became citizens of the Commonwealth. Like
yeah.
that's what happens in Massachusetts. Am I wrong?
And no, and every single thing that they mention, there is a way around that to do that in an appropriate manner. Even if and there's no perfect investigation. So I don't expect it to be perfect. But the fact that they didn't take their cell phone out and photograph like where he was, as, like, as as compared to the curb, the street, we have
Karen's car.
none of that.
Yep.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, like that. I'm sorry. Like I said, if I don't see it, how am I supposed to believe it? You know, just everything. It just doesn't add up. Like it's so. Anyway, so then they got to all that, and I was angry because I'm like, first of all,
Too
anyone
bad.
deserves, yeah, anyone deserves a better investigation than this. Much less like, I know what cops do for other cops, and when they're killed, like they go above and beyond. And
Happened here.
so
Yep.
yeah, and for them to be like, whatever, like they picked the cop in the house over the cop on the lawn, and that's messed up. So I was like, okay, this is a joke. But I'm still like, okay, maybe there's a chance that she did it on, like accident, had no idea. um but then like as they got towards like the end of the prosecution's case, they didn't prove that at all. And then the defense got up there and just blew it wide open with all the stuff that was like, you know, I don't believe in coincidences, and then you give me like 94 and I really don't believe it. And so like that's all I was getting from like the defense is like, oh, there's this and then there's this and why is there this? And then they can't answer it. They're, butt dials and like come on.
The
Like
butt dials are just kind of what solidified that obnoxiousness. You know what I'm saying?
yep. Yep.
Who who believes that? Who in their right mind believes that? And that's why this is, I don't know about you, but like I the movie Runaway Jury, I just like I keep coming to the fact that these people cannot be this dumb. Uh
I
I'm
yeah.
what?
Yeah, and I try not to say anything about jurors because I think they have a sacred job. I think they do the best that they can. They don't know the law, as much as some of us do. And so I try not to be harsh on them, but I just don't know what they were thinking. And it just, it
Even
just,
even with the evidence that they were given, because
yeah.
that's what you have to consider when
Mhm.
you are dogging on a juror. Like, like they're not on the internet. They're
Right.
not supposed to be on the internet. Like Googling like information that actually is not allowed. So based on the information that they have, why why would anyone who isn't a boomer, no offense to my boomers in here and watching, um why would anyone believe that? Like that's
I don't know.
in the way that those calls were made in a fashion like she was looking for his phone. She was
Oh,
absolutely looking for his phone.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Because if she's calling him back to back to back, walk outside, even on the porch, and be like, hey, you coming in? Like, no, they were calling because they couldn't find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what do you think happened that night?
So I don't think we're ever going to officially know.
Me neither.
Um, and that sucks.
That's so bad.
But I mean, I think it's safe to say that there was an altercation probably pretty quick after he went in the house. I think it probably happened in the basement. They probably were like, "Oh, hey, we brought drinks down. Come on down." And he probably like went downstairs and was going to text Karen. And one thing led to another probably fairly quickly, with maybe Higgins talking to Karen. Hell, I don't even know. This is something that I was saying to my friend. Who knows if John even saw that text message that Higgins sent to Karen, the well, maybe he saw that in the car. Who knows? And he said something to him like, what was the well about? And then they got into it. I don't know, but I think it happened very quickly after he went into the house. I don't think that there was a ton of people downstairs. Um, and I think it was a combination of Albert, Higgins, and Colin. And
Interesting. Keep going.
yeah, I don't necessarily think everyone there knew, because it would have been very interesting. And they did have that bulkhead door, um, but I do think the majority of the people in the house probably knew. But as far as who did what, I there was a reason that they wanted Colin's name kept out, but I wasn't ready to jump and say he did it, just because they wanted his name kept out. However, Now that Aunt Bev has said
That's what I was gonna get to, the culpability.
that you can't consider him, even though that there is enough to put him at the house. Now I can kind of jump there because of that ruling that she had. So I don't know if they took turns, beating him up. I don't know if Colin, hit the final blow. I don't know, but now I think it's way more probable than it was before, that Judge Bev said can't consider him.
Do you think this is one thing that I asked last week's guest? Um, and this is all speculation.
Yeah, of
I
course,
absolutely, I am not saying one way or the other that this is factual, but
of
this is
course.
what um, I've heard personally from people who actually live in Massachusetts in the greater Canton area. Let me just put it that way. Those allergies are coming through right now.
I feel you.
Excuse me. Um, do you think that maybe John was picking up on some of Colin's extracurricular activities? It is purported that he was selling um, substances of a certain nature. Uh, and John was John was the kind of cop that we want. John
Yeah.
wasn't a blue wall cop.
Hmm.
Um, because I make this very clear to anyone I have on my show, and I'm sorry it took me so long. This house that I'm in, we are extremely pro back to blue.
Yeah. Same.
Um,
Same.
we lost two police officers in one day to a domestic dispute in 2018. And it's like, um, I knew them both. And until you like experience something like that in a small town, like
Absolutely.
you don't get it. It,
Yeah.
it really, our entire city shut down for their funerals. Uh,
Yeah.
and I had to go in the basement because the helicopters were going over and my dogs were freaking out. And I was like, I can't fucking take this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
No.
we are very back to blue.
Yeah. Same. Same. I mean, there's amazing cops out there. That's why the bad ones got to
So
go.
good.
Yep.
So good. Um, and like the idea is, or the thought behind all of this is that John found out that Colin was selling drugs. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna go around it. And that the Albert family was worried that he was going to mention it to his superiors because Colin just kept doing things to aggravate John. Um, just being a stupid ass 21-year-old idiot or
Hmm.
high schooler, I think at that time,
Yeah.
I don't even, yeah, I don't remember how old he was, but holy crap, these kids do so much more bad things nowadays than I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got drunk once before a Dave Matthews concert, and no one would walk in with me because I was such a mess that they didn't want to be arrested if I went to jail one time, you guys. And now kids are like doing coke and addies and like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm the type of person that I would need to see like proof that he was doing it.
Good for you.
I mean, nothing's. nothing's too far-fetched, but I think I think the likelihood of it being something to do with Karen, the fact that Brian and Brian were driving all day, drinking all day, and probably talking about the fact that he had texted Karen. And I think it's that. And also, just to your point too, I can't imagine that Albert's being worried that someone was gonna say. They just seem like they have so much power and like pull over people that even, I don't know, even if John were to say something, I feel like they would make a call. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm
Oh,
off,
that's all.
but
It's just, let me make a call.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are in that position.
yeah,
I hope that people understand
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
that.
So
uh, keep going. Sorry.
yeah, no, I would love to hear what you think happened as well.
So I think that I don't mean to be like a echo chamber, but can you give me 1 second? I need
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Hey Frank, can you turned off these lights out here? I'm sorry to take you away from the 12-year-old cursing.
No, it's okay. They need a break.
Thank you. So very similar thoughts. I honestly think that the only thing that differs from what you said, I feel like it was actually unintentional for him to die. I don't
I
think
agree.
it was meant to be a murder.
I agree.
I think it was a murder because he injured himself so gravely that they did not call or take him to a hospital.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of where I sit on that. But I think that maybe being as tanked as he was, John, that is, um, I think he maybe fell back and hit his head on the bench, the weight bench. Um, I I think everyone just fucking panicked because they were all wasted. No one I think Colin was probably there. I think the dog reacted to, hey, fuck you. Like the dogs sense everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dogs, I try to tell my husband that because he didn't grow up with dogs. Like, you, even if you're kidding, like, dogs, if you just go like 3 decibels up, like, they're on high alert.
Right.
And I think that Chloe had made it very clear that she was not good with changes.
No.
And I think that she got a few snipes in to protect her owners,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, all of us want a dog that would protect us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it becomes too much when your dog protects you one too many times and
Yeah.
you get called on to the police,
Yeah.
even though you know the police. Or Frankie said, or if your name is Major and you live in the White House. That was good, Frank. That was really good. Now that we're gonna lose a bunch of viewers, before we go, if you could, oh, I see my Wi-Fi is like, it says that it's low. So
Oh, no.
if I'm glitching at all, please let me know. Back to what I was saying. If you can please make sure, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and to like this stream. That would be extremely helpful. If you are watching on X, I provided our usernames. So please make sure to follow and like this stream, which I have going on my X page right now. And then will you repeat one last time? If you're going to repeat it another time too.
Yeah.
Your TikTok / X or YouTube name?
Yes. So TikTok and YouTube is just Common Sense Investigator. And yeah, I'm trying to build that because I would love to cover some trials and missing persons cases and all that. So
That's the dream, right? Like
yeah, do what you're passionate about. Yeah.
I don't have kids. Well, my fur babies.
Same. Yes.
Like they're my whole world. And that was kind of I'm allowed that luxury of
Yes.
being able to go where I want when I want, and same with him. Like we like to do it together, but in this sort of stuff, now if it was Karen Reed, he would definitely be into it because he's like pissed.
Yeah.
He's pissed, and I just think that Bev is hurrying all of this because she doesn't want to miss another summer at the Cape.
She's got to be at the Cape. Yeah.
With her White Claws. Because she needs her weekends too.
She needs her weekends.
And apparently she was actually wearing stilettos with heels today and a strap.
What?
Jess Machado, if that is not for real, she tweeted, "You guys are gonna love this. She's actually wearing black stilettos with a strap." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I would be wearing.
Wow.
I would be wearing these. I would be wearing these, which is what I wear. Like in the house. They are furry slippers.
Yeah.
They are from TJ Maxx, and they were $10.
Yeah. Yep. Wow, I can't see her as a stiletto person. That's amazing.
Oh, I bet she is. I bet she gets a little sassy on the weekends.
I can see that.
I actually think that, and once again, the hair flip was not intentional for that, but I seem to do it at the most dramatic of moments. I will tell you that I don't know how much I'm allowed to share about this situation, but I have a friend who was at a, let's say, an event in the Commonwealth last weekend. Okay. And my friend mentioned this case to the person sitting next to her. Mm-hmm. And the person sitting next to her was a judge. And it was a very disturbing, in that sense, conversation, which only concerns me more and more that Karen is not going to get the fair trial that she deserves. And that shit keeps me up at night. Yeah. I literally, like, I'm not kidding you guys, it keeps me up at night. You were asked if you could say the name of your channel one more time.
Yes. So it is Common Sense Investigator. And that's
I'm actually going to write that in here.
Yeah. And that's on TikTok and on YouTube.
So keep talking while if you see the screen going like this, it's because I'm writing in the chat. Like, I'm trying to be that's really quiet tonight. What's wrong with y'all? In here, please say hello and where you repping and let us know. Like, come on, guys. Thank you, Melissa, for joining in. Investigator at Common Sense Investigator.
Yeah, just Common Sense Investigator on YouTube and TikTok. And also, if you're on my X or Twitter at Loren Katie, I should have the all of them listed there with
Yeah,
bio.
the link tree.
Link tree. Yeah.
God, I need to update that so bad. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've both established that we think it pretty much happened. Oh, she's from Alabama. That's great.
Oh, what part?
Let us know what part, Melissa,
Yeah.
please. I'm going to show your comment because I love that you're participating.
Yes. I mean, I'm close to Alabama where I am in Florida too. So
that's where I think I would probably end up in Florida. I'm not going to lie.
yeah.
Both politically, because being close to the capital is important. I mean, I love down south. Don't get me wrong. South Beach is my life. I love it down there, but I think it's more practical to be like Panama City, like just Tallahassee, somewhere up there. It's not as expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Gulf Coast is beautiful.
Melissa said she is top north corner in Marion County. We have a Marion County in Ohio.
Okay. Awesome.
I know, and Melissa, I know that I have heard my hero James Spann mention Marion County in his weather reports before, and I know that for a fact. So I know where you're talking about. I'm picking up what you're putting down, girl. I love that for her. So, okay. How many people do you think know what happened?
I mean, I think Higgins, Albert's wife, McCabe's wife, Colin. I think Allie McCabe knows. I mean, I go back and forth on Nagel because she did call, I think, the brother to come get her, but then she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay."
Isn't
So
that weird?
It was weird. So I don't know if she was told like, he can't come in, like get rid of him, like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I even go back and forth on her. I don't, and I think that when this first kind of came out and like everybody was like, "Oh, it's like a 30, 40 people, like, conspiracy." I don't think that at all. I don't
And
even.
that's what they always say. The antis, they're always like, all these people know about it. No, they don't.
No, they don't. I mean, I don't even think he may know now, but I don't think Proctor knew what had happened when Proctor, distributed the tail light. I just think he was told to do it. And if you're told to do it by like a high ranking, police officer, yeah, and you don't ask questions when certain people, I mean, like Albert had a temper. He had a name for himself there and he had a temper and okay, I'm told, I'll make it right for you, do what I'm saying, sprinkle the stuff there, like I'll take care of you in the future kind of thing. So I don't even know if he knew when he did what he did that, I don't think these people, this is the only time that they were trying to like make their case better than what it was. You know what I mean? So I think this is probably a regular thing in that department, was like, "Hey, we have this case, but man, it would look a whole lot better if we had this evidence." So I don't think this is something that's so out of the ordinary for those guys to be like, "Hey, grab this and place this on the ground." And man, like, we're solid then. Because remember, they were trying to like talk the medical examiner into certain things.
Right.
So,
It's just shady all the way around. Like,
oh yeah,
everything about it. And the whole Elizabeth Proctor getting a gift.
yes.
And then I at this, like, where we are in this conversation, we don't even have to bring up the text messages. Like, everyone knows they're abhorrent. Like, especially the fact that Tully was like, well, I was on a vacation in the Outer Banks, so I wasn't checking my phone. Bull fucking shit. My dad lives in the Outer Banks. Like, you were checking your phone, and with your job, you have to check your phone. Nobody in that position just goes offline. I'm sorry.
No,
It doesn't
no.
happen.
And I can't remember, you'll probably know, was it that he didn't have a work phone, or is it he didn't have a personal phone? He only allegedly had one phone at the time.
Who?
So, I believe it was Tull. No, not Proctor. Whoever Proctor's senior was.
It would be Tully.
Okay.
So Tully, from what I understand, this was a group chat, and
Yeah.
it involved the captain and or the chief rather, sorry. And Tully was in on it. And then these two guys from friggin' Tennessee were on this chat, buddies from college or high school with Proctor. Like, that's so cringe.
I'm sorry.
That's so cringe.
I'm just happy they're on the witness list.
They are on the witness list. How about the fact that the guy that Albert beat up a long time ago, him being Fanning. I totally forgot about Fanning.
Fanning, yes.
I'm telling you guys, in every single public servant role I've had in my life, I've always been given a cell phone. Like, they don't mess around with that shit. Hillary Clinton scared the shit out of everyone with her messages. Yeah. So people are really, really careful. And by people, I mean like governments and states, to make sure that you have a dedicated way of just talking shop.
Yeah.
But even if you are on vacation, like, you take your phone with you. I always had to take my phone with me because we didn't know if something would need addressed like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Was it Fanning that was on vacation, not Tully? I may have messed that up.
I think it might have been. And like, it was some document I was reading, and I was like, that's crazy. No, like, he has a work phone. Like, he was saying all this. I don't know. I would have to go back and read it. But
play that on a work phone, by the way. I think this is like a personal message. Like, Jess Machado did a really good way of bringing this up, like on that stupid podcast that Michael, I keep wanting to say Phelps, but is that his name? Like, Michael Phelps is the swimmer.
It's just Phelps. That's all I know him as. But yeah, it was
okay. That stupid podcast. Jess Machado was like, I think we're being dumb if we don't recognize the fact that a lot of guys in real life talk this way. And like, you, especially when you don't think that your phones are going to be checked. And I can, especially with men, sorry guys, I can see a dude being like, no one's ever going to read this. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fine.
But the difference is, like, you can't be the investigator putting that in writing. Like, I could see that being said out to dinner or something like that between guys. Yeah, okay. But how dumb are you to put it in writing in your work phone? Like, come on.
Yeah, I try to think about like my my old bosses and how they would have verbally assaulted the shit out of me. I would have fired myself. Like, that is just not proper conduct.
No.
unbecoming not only of yourself, but your employer and the state. And
Yeah.
that is something we take very seriously in the heartland of Ohio.
Yeah.
Melissa says she doesn't believe that he had seen the message. So that's interesting.
Melissa said she what?
Melissa said he didn't look at his phone, and she doesn't believe that he had seen the message. So it's
But
very
like,
interesting.
at some point, did he not check him when he was, you know what I mean? Like,
Like,
I
hey
don't know.
guys, maybe we should go to a private messaging app if we want
Yeah.
to. Like,
Yeah.
I know when I'm about to say something that is even remotely like cringe, or like I don't want this is me being transparent. Sorry, Lauren, like this is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no problem admitting, like, open the Signal app. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
especially doing what I do, like there are certain people that have the worst of intentions. And
Yeah.
so you always have to think about that, especially when you work in a political atmosphere. And
Sure.
cops deal with politics
Yep.
as much as we don't want to admit it. Like, it's a very political job. So,
Oh yeah.
and she says that, okay, Melissa said he had to have looked at his phone.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree.
I agree with that. I mean, inevitably he had
Yeah.
to. I'm trying to think of what else. Because I have a lot of other questions to ask, but I want to make sure we're trying to go in the train of thought. What else stood out to you when you were? Did you watch? Let me go back to this. Did you watch every day of the trial?
Every day. I
Me
was
too.
hooked. I
I
was hooked at that point. I was like,
I should have been paid. I should have been
yeah.
paid. I would have been the best damn employee ever. Dan
Yep.
Abrams, if you're watching, you are my life. And I should be paid. He's like retweeted me twice, and it's like the happiest moments of my life.
Aw. That's cute.
Okay. So what else do you think made you really like it was difficult as a back to blue home and like lifestyle and um et cetera, for us to come to grips that this was happening?
Yeah.
What else like pushed you to that ledge? Are there any pieces of evidence other than like the lack of documented evidence collection?
Yeah,
Like,
his injuries. They're not that. I mean, I've seen car accident, injury patients. My uncle was hit by a train. I mean, I have like my
goodness.
dad. He's okay. Yeah. He made it amazingly. But yeah, my dad was a doctor before he retired, so I'm pretty familiar like with some aspects of medicine. And yeah, you don't get hit by a car and don't have bruises or some fractures or something.
What about everyone that's saying that he could have been run over, like in the middle of the vehicle? Like, I I don't think he would have cleared it. I don't think
No,
he was like a big
he
breasted
was
bird.
tall.
He
Yeah.
was a big breasted bird, like
Hmm. Yeah,
not
and that's
all, but yeah.
yeah, he would have had, like where the car, he would have midsection to legs, like they would have been bruised, fractured. something. And I'll tell you, like, another thing is that that head wound did not come from just hitting flat, hard as rock
No,
ground. Did
no.
not happen. That
Had to
head
be
wound,
something. It had to be something firm, like a
yes,
rock or
correct.
but even a rock is hard. You and I, because of our Dateline obsession, we know that that would have left a different like look on his skull, a different whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm not saying whatever so flimsically or
No, I know what you mean.
but it
Um,
had to have been a straight item. And yes, if you want to know my qualifications, my senior year, summer into senior year, guys, I went to San Diego State University for nerd camp. I call it. I went for forensic psychology, and
hey, that's awesome.
we got to see. You had to have you had to be invited. You had to have a certain grade point average, and we got to see a autopsy. We got to see a dead body.
Yeah.
We got to ask like FBI questions. Like it was badass.
Yeah,
It was really cool, but
that's awesome.
um I felt like I needed to disclose that because like yeah, it was pretty intense. So I'm allowed
Yeah.
to talk about that was one of the things that we discussed is like if someone has a head injury,
Mm-hmm.
um the shape of the injury and like
Yeah.
what are the most common items used, like uh in this case that we were on in San Diego, it was a hair dryer. And it
Okay.
that can also look like it can look like a cup. It can look like a rock, like a round rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you look at his autopsy photos, John's, God bless his soul, that was any good medical examiner knows that that didn't just happen from falling backwards.
No.
No doubt.
Um, no, not at all. And I think there'll probably be some revelations that come out from that new medical examiner that is gonna testify. The same one that is testifying, I guess, in Turk's case.
Is
Um,
it?
it's gonna be that same one. And I'm hoping that there will be more that is said about that because that's not how it works. Also, like, having been so cold, if this happened outside, his blood would have congealed. So, yes, there would have been some that went to like into the ground, but it would have also congealed around the rest of his head, around his shirt, and it wouldn't have just been the stains. So, like, that's a whole nother thing that like shows to me that that did not happen outside.
What about the socks? What about the fact that like nobody knows where the socks are? What about the fact that there was vomit in his boxers?
Yeah, that
I,
needs to be talked about a whole lot more than
I
last
think
trial.
I don't know about you, but once again, this comes back to him like maybe falling and hitting his head. I think that they were like, he just hit his head. He's drunk. He just needs to like sleep it off. I think that he started seizing.
Yes.
Think that he threw up.
Yep.
That is totally normal when you have a
Yep.
seizure. Um,
And that's what Scanlon said, the next day or whatever when he came to Yanetti's office was exactly that he started seizing and throwing up and they freaked out.
I think that is the only possible way you make sense of the vomit in his boxer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't and I wanted to be shown this revelation like as to why Karen was hit with these charges. Like I wanted to believe that the government had their shit together. And I'm sorry for any listeners who aren't used to my colorful vocabulary. It's 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 who I am. So tough shit. Anyways, I just I don't get any other way around it.
Also, another thing for me is that, yeah, she had some drinks. Like, it's not great to drink and drive, right? However, every single person there was drinking and driving. So
Oh,
you're gonna single her out as to be like, oh, she was so terrible. Okay, well, she's equally as terrible as everyone else that was doing it. So there's that. And then, like, you cannot have it both ways. If you're saying she's so drunk that she went, 24 miles in reverse, and then magically knew exactly when to stop so that she didn't hit Higgins' Jeep because they're saying it was there. Even if it wasn't there, she would have hit the mailbox. And it takes a lot of time to stop on a dry road going 4 miles per hour.
oh my
And this
God,
was
yes.
this was icy conditions or whatever. So you can't have it both ways. Like, either she was drunk and like accidentally hit him or whatever, or she is some NASCAR, you know, person. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. No.
I continue to be astonished by the bullshit.
Oh yeah.
I that's the best way to put it. Like, I continue to be amazed that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and on the other side of the token, like, I'm not surprised. Like,
Right.
this tracks with their reputation.
Yes.
And if anyone is watching from Massachusetts, I hope you guys know that you have a say in who represents you, who writes the laws, who enforces these laws. That's through elections. It's
Mhm.
through getting people to run for office who you think would be a good leader, who would not have problems with being shady and
Yeah.
the nepotism and the bribes. You guys have a say. And if you guys really get your shit together and want change, I know of a certain political party that would be more than happy to come in and bring operatives and change things, try to change things up.
Yeah.
Um I just this is this is this is horrific to watch.
Oh yeah.
She had, and I know she's pretty, she's smart, and that puts a 10 times larger uh you know thing on her back.
Yep. Target on her back. Yep.
I was gonna
Yep.
say sign, but yeah, sign.
Yeah.
I just I don't get how Lally sleeps that night.
I don't know how he is not going to be called as a witness in this next
Oh,
trial.
for real? Explain.
I was shocked because he said that there was no videos, but then all of all of this information is coming out. Well, Lally had them. Proctor gave it to him. So why didn't he turn it over? I think they could have easily called him as a witness. Um, I don't. It's a mess. And then Hank Brennan is a whole nother thing, and I hate it, but I think I'm going to be pissed off most days listening to him. And I don't think the jury, if he handles if he handles the case like he handled Dr. Russell,
Oh my God, they're gonna hate him.
the jury is gonna be like, wow, no. So I can't wait to see.
Against Alessi and Yannetti, like Jackson, not so much. Jackson can be snarky, but Alessi is like brilliant.
He is amazing.
Oh my God. And then Yannetti, you just want to fucking hug him.
He's great. He is my great. I don't know who's my favorite at this point.
Guy.
Yes.
Him and Alessi are just like, I don't know, they're heartwarming.
1 second. My little guy wants in. Come on, buddy. He's got a certain cry, and he was at the door. He was like,
oh, what? Is this a cat?
Yeah. Come here, bud.
What kind of camera do you have that follows you?
I am on just my iPad. But
that is wild. What's his name?
This is Cash.
Cash.
His name is actually
his dog's name.
Is it?
Yeah, no, he died. But
aww,
the dog that helped her survive the attack from Dirty John, his name is Cash.
Aww.
From Johnny Cash. And
amazing.
That's so wild. Like, I love that.
Yes, he's my baby. He's like a mama's boy, so but
I have a mama's boy that has I told my vet or my groomer that we have to sedate him before we bring him to her, and she was like, no, you don't. What kind of sedatives we give him? And she was like, he needs more. He is just at apparently a holy hell when he is getting grown. And she can't use like a certain objects like to get his face, because he's just like, whoa, like the entire time. And then he comes home and he's like chill for like an hour, and then he just won't leave my poor French bulldog alone. He just feels the need. He gets all this energy back, and he's like, I just got to hump. And it's my poor Frenchie. So we try to keep them in separate rooms at this point. I get the clinginess.
Oh yeah. He just realized I was like, because he was napping when I came in here. He was like, wait a second. Where'd you go?
My Maltese is losing his hearing, so I can usually make it about 10 minutes before he runs, and he's like, oh, you're just there. It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go sleep over here now.
Oh.
Blossa said she can't stand Hank. I don't think any of us can stand Hank.
He is the most unethical. I mean, I have seen, I like some snark. Like, yeah. I like, you know what I mean? But this guy is unethical. He's a liar. He straight has lied in the court and had no problem with it until the judge was like, oh, can you get me, can you call the FBI and get them to give me the things? And then he's like, oh, actually, it was the defense that handed those over. Yeah, you knew the whole time when you were talking about it for 15 minutes that the defense gave it to you, not the FBI. He's sneaky, and he tries to, that's the thing. I hope, because see, the first trial, they got away with that whole inverted video. If I was on that jury and they tried to pull that crap over on me, I'd have been like, oh, no, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it is. They got away with that. I don't know how they got away with it, but they did. But if he starts pulling those little, like, I don't know, thing on words like, oh, well, it was this, but it was this. Like, I hope that the jury is smart enough to pick up on that. because he is a little shyster when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh, you're so kind using such nicer language than me about them.
Well, that means, well, that's shit in German, so like it's not
Yes,
really.
I know, but
It's
a lot of
really-
people don't realize that I'm married to a pig, a Polish, Italian, German. He is the nicest man ever.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
That's no, I'm not mean. That's literally what he refers to himself. So just so you guys know, like, okay, I am mean, but that has nothing to do with this. Anyways, I want to see if anyone, especially Melissa, Melissa's been great. Anyone on X, anyone on YouTube has any questions, now would be the time. You guys know that I like to keep things, what's the word I'm looking for? I like to be consistent. So cut off at 9 or a little after. Trying to respect other people's schedules. And I know that there are always content creators going at all times of the day, so I don't want to have to compete with anyone. Pardon me, this is ridiculous, this cough. What are there any other things that you want to discuss that are on your mind? Are you going to the trial 2.0 at all?
So I was planning on it
Okay.
before they bumped the buffer zone back like 15 miles. And then they said, like, nobody except family in the courtroom and all that kind of stuff. So I just can't see myself going up there and, not even being by the courthouse. And, now if there's some events afterwards, if she's acquitted, I will gladly be up there. But I think myself and one of the other YouTube creators that lives within driving distance of me, we're going to do some standouts during the trial down here because we can do it wherever we want. So we're going to do some more of those because a lot of people down here don't know about this case, and I would just love to get more eyes on it because anyone with sense hears about this case and they're like, what? So yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, my husband and I have to both go in on, we know this sounds crazy, but there's a lady in Boston being framed by the police. Like, that's how we always have to go into the conversation. And people are like hesitant to want to believe that, right? Like,
right, yeah.
But facts are facts. Evidence is evidence, or lack thereof, even in this case. And corruption is corruption. Like, this is just becoming, it is upsetting to think about. And so that's good to know. One of the flags that your friend is using, she did not have it for the last standout, but it arrived the day after. Did she show you a photo?
No, well, she told me what she ordered, but I knew because I was like, there's only like a couple, and but it was so rainy that day, so we're gonna do a beach one, and then the flag can be blowing, and we'll have signs.
It's gonna be so pretty. I love that for you guys. I'm trying to find the one that I created for said person. And is that your phone?
Oh, no. So you did it for her flag. You made the flag.
I made that. I
did not know that. No, I was just assuming it was like the other pink ones that I've seen. So now I'm gonna have to see.
Yeah, let me let me, I'm trying to navigate. I feel like I'm so old doing this. So it's on both sides.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it has like these holes that you can like put like a flag thing in.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and they come in 3 different sizes. And she wanted a pink one. So she was like, I want a pink one. And I was like, you want a baby? You got it. And so I called her 10 minutes later. I was like, it's on my website. There you go.
Awesome.
And so, but I have like the white one.
Oh, so cool.
I have, yeah. And I think there's a black.
I'm gonna have to look at your Etsy. I want to say I looked at it like maybe a couple weeks ago, but
I think you did. I think this was one of the things. I have it in black and pink.
oh, that's cool.
It's a vinyl, so it can be outside in the elements and be reused and just wiped off.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
which would be good for the beach.
Yes.
That would be really good for the beach.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
if you guys enjoyed this show, please make sure to let us know. If you didn't, don't. And we would appreciate you liking and subscribing to hold on, I'm not going to ask her another freaking so it's Common Sense Investigator on here and TikTok, and then at Loren Loren Katie Katie on X.
Yes.
I am at Lacey J Meeks on X, and I am at Lacey Jane on X on YouTube. So I hope that you guys will sub and like this video. And oh, hello, Cash.
Say hi. Say hi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you. He's so sweet.
If I tried to get that close to my cat, I would have bruises. I would be in the hospital. All I wanted was a nice cat. Like, she gets such great treatment and gifts, and I'm just like, what did I do wrong?
Well, thank you, Lacey, for having me on.
Thank you for being here, and
Yes.
I would love to have you back for Cassie's
Yes.
trial, and
Yes.
let's do like a mid trial Karen Reed.
Sounds good. Yeah.
follow-up.
Sounds good. I love it. Yeah. Keep doing the good stuff, all the good work that you're doing, and
Same, girl,
getting
same.
that word out. So
All
thank you
right,
everyone for watching.
guys.
Have a great night.
All right, guys. I just want to thank everyone for coming in and being a part of the show. If you are gonna say it one more time because I saw one more person just entered. If you are part of the show watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe and like. If you are watching this part of the show on X, please make sure to follow and like the stream. It is on my X profile at Lacey J Meeks. On YouTube, it's at Lacey Jane on X. And make sure to follow Loren. She was an incredible guest. Let me know if there are certain parts of the conversation you absolutely loved, and we'll try to meet your standards in terms of people to bring on in the future. I knew that I wanted to have her on here because being a panelist for Court TV is pretty badass, and also being a pardon me, a free Karen Reed supporter. And we you guys, we gotta stick together. We're so close. We're so close to the finish line. And I I would encourage you all to do a few things. First of all, let me cough. Allergies. If you are a spiritual person, please pray for Karen. Pray for her team. Be intentional with your prayers. Second of all, I saw that she has a a donation thing going around on Facebook for lunches for she and her team every day. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap up here. Please, if you can, I know that every dollar helps, because it is her responsibility to feed her team, and we need these guys fed, and girls. I think Vanessa is her name, so that they can defend her as much as she needs defended against the corruption, And the third thing is talking about it. I was going to say something else, and I decided to just say talking about it instead of being vulgar again. Tell people, talk to people. This is not me selling merch. This is me telling you, like, when I say talk about it, my bag that I carry, I wore this into the courthouse to give testimony yesterday, and I had 4 people ask me about it. Like, I I want people to ask me so that I can spread the truth. And it is important, especially for the citizens of the Commonwealth, to know that we want the best for you guys. It's up to you guys to A of all go vote, B of all help with a campaign. If it's a Sunday, it's a Sunday, you guys. It means so much to have your support. I've worked on a gazillion campaigns. It's not the most glamorous work, but I will tell you what, those people will never forget you, and they will be like, oh, that person, that's a good person. I really needed their help, and they pulled through. And it's not like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours sort of thing. It's like being a good freaking neighbor, being a good productive member of your community. So I hope that things are going to change in Massachusetts. And I've brought it to the attention of some people. Thank you, Melissa. I saw that you said you already subscribed. I appreciate that. I've brought it, the whole political scene, to some people, to the awareness of some people way above me, way richer than me, and encourage them to simply watch 2.0 and let me know if that isn't worth throwing in a couple $1,000. Or way more than that, because those are the connections that I'm reaching out to at this point. I think that we have the ability to help Massachusetts in a 1990s Rudy Giuliani way. And I don't think that that's super far-fetched. I think that we need to rid the swamp. And that's a term I freaking hate. I hate that term, but there is no other term that I can absolutely think about. Like, we just, or drain the swamp is whatever he said. in his last campaign. It was horrible advice. So yeah, I hope that you can talk about it. You can pray, you can donate, and I think that awareness is the key here. So let's prepare ourselves. Let's be kind on the internet. I can't believe I have to say this to grown ass adults, but let's be nice, especially to the people that agree with us on this situation. Like, it's total BS. Whatever shit you have going on in your own life, call a therapist. BetterHelp.com. I heard it's great. I don't know. Don't take it out on people on the internet because you just look foul and you look pathetic. Nobody likes that. So I hope Karen knows that the whole country and abroad is rooting so hard for her. We cannot stand for this. And I'm saying that as an Ohioan. We cannot allow for this to be okay. Because once this starts happening, it's going to go to other states. And it's like an infection. You're going to need penicillin everywhere. Stop the virus. Stop the corruption. Let's kill the problem. Not literally. It's not a threat. Jesus. Let's stop the infection at the source. And that's just making sure that you do your due diligence on voting records and making sure that you are voting for the best person to fit the bill. Yeah, so I'm going into Tuesday with that mindset, and I'm really excited that I got to spend this Thursday evening with you. I hope that you will come back again next Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I do this every week. Please make sure to subscribe. I usually put the reminder out a few days ahead. Sometimes I forget, but everyone deserves some grace here and there, right? Thank you guys. I loved tonight. Let me know what you enjoyed most. And I hope you have a blessed and safe weekend. All my love and positive vibes to Karen. And hi, Mom and Dad. All right. Bye, guys. Love you.